So it's like a lot harder to grow on TikTok than it used to be, like a lot harder. And there's a few reasons why this is the case. And there is actually some things that you can do to beat that and still grow very quickly on TikTok today. And obviously, you know, since you clicked this, that's what we're talking about today. We're gonna talk about why it's become increasingly hard to grow on TikTok and what you can do to grow the way you want. What's going on? It's Ben here from Flick. I am your resident social media nerd. I've been working in social for over 5 years now. I personally have hundreds of thousands of followers, and I've grown millions of followers for clients and brands that I've worked with. And a lot of that's come from TikTok. Millions of followers from TikTok. But it's way harder today to grow than it was even a year or especially 2 or 3 years ago. It was so easy to grow back then. Now it is completely different. You still see people pulling a ton of views, but way fewer of those are actually converting into followers. Go look at someone who is blowing up as of right now and go look at how many views they're consistently pulling on their videos. It's probably in the hundreds of thousands or even the millions, but their followers might be even under 100 grand still pulling that many views. Which brings us to the first reason as to why it's so much harder to grow. It's because it's reached a saturation point. Once a platform is new, people are just so hungry for content and hungry to follow new accounts to then consume their content. And this is especially true for when algorithms were more based on who you followed. We were still conditioned to consume like this when TikTok became popular, but TikTok really removed the need to follow someone to still see their content. And people are slowly becoming more aware of that. So they're following way less accounts and doing so far more selectively because they know they don't have to see the content again. If they like the video or if they even just watch it long enough, they know they're gonna see similar stuff in the future. So this kind of difficulty in growth is experienced across every platform as it reaches that saturation point and becomes far more competitive. But TikTok itself has really overemphasized this because of the shift to pure interest-based content distribution. So that's the first reason. The second is just simply due to consumption fatigue. TikTok, love it or hate it. I think I hate it more than I love it. There's so much content being consumed on that platform. When people go, they consume oftentimes hundreds of videos. So naturally, even if you were the best of that 100, it is so hard to make enough of an impact to convince someone to follow you because they're just consuming so much content, which makes our job as a content creator so much harder to stand out and actually build that relationship. Because even if we've talked to them a few times in a row in content, chances are that they're gonna move to something else, likely related from a completely different creator in a matter of seconds. So that barrier to conversion becomes so much harder just simply with how the app is often used. And the final point for why it's become so hard is because a lot of people aren't approaching it the way a TikTok needs to be approached. TikTok, like any other platform, has developed its own little culture within it in terms of what resonates with people, what people are expecting when they come to the platform, and what they will and won't watch. Yes, short form vertical video content is available across every platform, but what works really well does vary, especially for those that dominate a said platform. It's rarely from cross-posting the same video. Often there's a big variability in how a video will perform across different platforms. So what is TikTok's subculture? It's really a lot more raw and authentic. People come to this for the tea. They want the behind the scenes. They want it to be real and organic and feel like they're actually talking to the person on the other side of the screen. That's why creators and brands that play into this win so disproportionately on TikTok, because that's the culture. And so those who are super rigid, super polished, like the stuff that works still on Instagram, they have a harder time breaking through on TikTok because it's just such a disconnect there. People basically use TikTok for their need of social interaction. Even though it's one way, it's parasocial, people still need to interact with people, but they don't do it in real life. So they do it through TikTok. And so they basically get their daily need of social interaction through looking at a screen, which is exactly why the creators that play into this actual connection being raw and authentic, they win because they understood the assignment. They know what people are coming for. They're giving that to them. They're fulfilling that need. And so the viewers are way more invested because they feel that connection like they would if it was their friend that they talk to every single day. And think about your life. Who are you the closest with? The people that have been the most raw and honest with you, that you've shared experiences with, and that you just see the most frequently. So that's why volume on TikTok is a big deal too. With so much content being posted, you want to make sure that they actually see you and can see you enough to build that connection. So those are the three major reasons as to why it's become so much harder to grow. Now, how can we beat this? First, if you're a unique point of value, meaning that there's very few other places or none where they can get the information or the comedy or whatever you're providing, if they can't get it anywhere else, they have to come to you for that content, meaning it is far more scarce or rare, dramatically increasing the chances that people follow you because they know they can't get this kind of content in other places. And so this comes down to you being creative. How can you make yourself really rare? This is easy if it's your personality, but if you're a brand, how can you work things in that make you super unique and unlike anything else people have seen before, or especially at least within your field or niche? There are so many creators out there that are just carbon copies of someone else that they've seen and they've tried to emulate them, and they don't grow the way the other person did because that's already that point of value. People don't want a recycled version of something they actually want. So how do you become the thing that people actually want? And all the people that crush it on social media, they dug deep into building their own thing. Because yes, you can look at someone's success and you can copy it, reverse engineer it, and you'll get some success. But you'll never have that huge level of success unless people really resonate with you. And so that takes a little bit of courage. It takes some patience to actually build out that voice, because it may take some time and some repetitions to actually figure out what that is and to see what audiences resonate with in the first place. But that is a huge differentiator. If you can become unique and a unique point of value, you're gonna get way more followers. Plus, your followers are gonna become a tool for growth because they're gonna share it with other people they know would like it because you are super specific and stand out. So the next logical question is, how do we become unique or figure out what that even looks like? You're gonna wanna experiment with different content formats and different content series. Honestly, view TikTok like you're throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. Because the old days of audience fatigue, meaning that you would push away followers by posting too much, that's just gone. Even your most core people aren't going to see all of your content in most cases. So that should free you up creatively to try anything and everything. Some of the highest performing series or creators came from pure experiments. So whenever an idea comes, act on it and just see how it goes. And to take this to another level is by branding it or turning things into series. It can make growth so much easier for this reason. And my buddy Ali Afnan did this fantastically well. So if you center a series around the topics that you typically talk about, but in a way that's very easy to understand and appealing for who you're trying to reach, you can do so well. So Ali started this series about uneffing your life up in your 20s. Basically, how do you discover yourself in your 20s to live the life that you want to live? Every 20-year-old is trying to do that. So there are so many things that Ali can talk about that still can go within that series, but if even one of them does well, because it's part of a series, anyone who's consumed that, who also wants that change, is gonna visit his profile and then in a row consume all of the content within that series, or a bunch of it, which dramatically increases the chances that they follow you and dramatically increases the chances that you actually build a relationship, become a customer, or get them to a different platform, etc. This achieves so much. So when you're thinking about experimenting with different kinds of contents, always remember series, because they're a great answer for this pure content fatigue and a way to be unique. Oftentimes series are what make creators. Like there's the guys that started doing those random drafts and now they have over 1 million followers. And so many people have since copied that format, but everyone knows it was them that first made it big, or they probably weren't the first to ever do it, but they were the first to make it very mainstream. Tying back into the previous point, they were a unique point of value through experimentation and different kinds of content, and they won. They got a huge following. And since you're looking to grow your following and make money from your social media platforms, this is the channel for you. Every single week I post a free video for you to help you do those things. So make sure to hit that bell button so you never miss a video, and so you and I can hang out every single week, become homies, and crush it on social media. Sounds like fun, right? Just me? Okay. Well, the next point for how to really get growing again on TikTok is tying back to the problem we talked in the first bit of the fact that people are approaching the platform the wrong way. And so I would encourage you to stop approaching it the wrong way. I know, great tip. But let me dive a little bit deeper in terms of how you actually do this. Those that are raw and authentic and show up consistently, they win. So I want you to lower the bar in terms of what you decide to actually execute. So I'm not saying lower the bar in terms of quality and the execution of that idea, but for a lot of people when creating content, they allow analysis paralysis to set in and they obsess over making the idea perfect, so they never actually even post anything. Whereas for TikTok, definitely take the time to make it as good as you can, but try everything. If you have a story, share it. Behind the scenes, anything you can think of, create the content, see how it does. You're not married to that post. As long as it resonates with your values, it shares something you're proud of or that you think can build connection. As long as it makes sense to post in any way, shape, or form, go ahead and do it. Try to be as raw and authentic and be as creative as you possibly can. That's how you're going to win, because that's what people are coming for to TikTok, and those that provide it, they win. And I do know that it's scary to show up consistently, and a lot of people are very scared to share themselves, but a huge creator that's built a massive business, she goes by the name of Strawberry Milk Mob, that's the name of her brand. She is quite vulnerable, shares a lot of personal details, and really has built her whole brand that way. She sells bikinis and clothing and things like that. I actually just recently bought some shorts from her, but she is proof that this stuff works, and she's also very quick to block people. So if you are worried about the negativity or anything negative coming from you sharing and being more vulnerable, you have the ability to block whoever you want, and she uses that to the full advantage to keep it as positive as possible. And that's an option that you have too. So don't let that be an excuse as to why you can't be raw, be authentic, and show up consistently, because you can, and she's doing it. And she's crushing it, by the way. Crushing it. And go live. Once you can on TikTok, once you get that feature to go live after you have enough followers, use it. It is a massive tool on TikTok that really counteracts a lot of the negative things we've talked about that make it so much harder to grow. On live, you build one-on-one connection with people. They become far more invested in real time, and consistently we see again and again, the accounts that do go live, they do get preferential treatment for their content, for their future content. So make it a priority to go live and do so consistently. Even if not a lot of people are in there, the more you stick with it, the more they're gonna come back and the more people will be there. And you get that added bonus of the push within the algorithm that I've seen again and again and again. I've never seen TikTok state this publicly, but I always see a huge correlation of views, traffic, and followers to when that account goes live consistently. So don't sleep on this. I know it is a little awkward at first, but I've seen it firsthand. The ability that you have to create real connection with someone on a live is insane. Simply by you saying their name and acknowledging their presence and their question does wonders for turning them instantly into a super fan of your content or your service, whatever it is that you're providing. It happens so quickly, again, because people are so starved for connection. And with it being live, it's the closest to a human-to-human interaction that there is. And people want this. We, as humans, we fundamentally need this. And so if you provide it, you're gonna get way deeper connections and help grow your following way faster. So that's how you can beat TikTok and grow there. If you're looking to grow on Instagram, it all comes down to understanding their algorithms. Yes, plural. And we break down how all of those work and how to make them work for you in this video right here. So if you're looking to grow on IG, this video will help you do it. So I'll see you over there. Keep creating, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.